Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Speed Gaming 2. We have entered the bracket stages of the 2022 All Boards No Swords Zelda 1 Randomizer Tournament. This is round one of the bracket stages. We have a great matchup in store for you this evening between Imasock and Sigil711. I am barbecue.gov. We're thrilled to be here with you watching the race and talking about the action. I am joined behind the scenes for tracking tonight. We have Gary and Old Wolf. Happy to have Gary in tracking. And joining me in the booth this evening is a man who makes a big chunk of this tournament happen, Fury SK. Fury, welcome. What are you looking forward to tonight?
Well, these two are very familiar with one another. They've raced several times, I think, even in this tournament. So looking forward to two that should know each other's general patterns and thought processes, and we might see a very good race because of it.
And we're off immediately in an immediate path divergence. We start on Candle Row. Sigil heads up towards Vanilla 1, and Imasock is heading into the forest.
Yep, two different thought processes here, though. We have one that's probably more likely to go towards Armos. I would think Sigil's kind of going that direction, although he's trying to make the pit stop to level 1 to get his take any one that happens to be there. Sock, on the other hand, looks like he's just going for open cave volume, looking for the blue candle. Both are reasonable ideas.
Absolutely. That starting screen is right in the middle of the map, so you have a lot of options in terms of directions. 100 for the arrow price. That's rolled up a little bit. Speaking of things rolling up, Fury, do you want to run through for folks who are new to the ABNS tournament what the flags are for the bracket stages and what changes have gone into effect now that we're through the Swiss rounds?
All right, so a handful of changes are that we have a overall blocked dungeon or white sword item. It could be one or the other, and it could be one of the Triforces they start with, so it may not even be in play unless there's something important in there. Another one is the overworld can be blocking the wood sword based on what's at the Armos location. So if it's like a red candle, it might be at a burn bush. If it's a raft, it might be on a raft spot, so on and so forth. We've also seen a couple more HP rolls involved. Now we have more potential for plus or minus on our regular enemies. It's now 4 instead of 2. Bosses are now 2 instead of normal HP. And finally, most of the open staircases are going to be removed in favor of blocks, as we finally get someone looking at Triforces, so we have 2, 3, and 4.
That's an interesting selection of starting Triforces. That means all the bigger dungeons are going to be required to be dug. You also mentioned the Armos item. We did see the Armos item at Death Armos. It is a heart container. And both runners have found separate Take-Any caves. So having the hearts necessary, certainly for Imasock now that he has 6 hearts, to pick up the white sword item if and when they find it, not going to be a problem here. The white sword item in the Swiss flags was guaranteed to be the red candle. That is not the case in these flags. The white sword item can be anything, and the candle can be in any one of the dungeons. Could also be on the coast. Sigil's in level 2, and he's going to take a peek here and see how far he can get with no weapon to speak of. And the answer is not very far.
Yeah, that's the major difference that I've seen from Swiss, is you can walk into a dungeon and maybe get some keys or some bombs for your efforts, but the chances that you're going to have that open staircase with a free item have gone way down, so your expectations kind of have to change. As we do see a blue candle purchase, doesn't look like Imasock's willing to go around looking for the wood sword cave.
And the price for that was 59, so thankfully it was one off the vanilla amount, so thankfully he was able to grab a couple of medium secrets, which rolled to 35. We have not seen a large secret yet. We have seen the small secret. It is a comical 2 rupees. Well, he's regretting that purchase now and burns the red candle as he finds it at vanilla 6. Sock's on his way to check the grave spot, and Sigil is clearing some of the same open caves that Sock took a peek at the beginning of the race. Is now Sock, now that he has a candle, he's going to check Candle Row.
Yeah, probably a little frustrating with the blue candle situation there, but at the end of the day, there's still going to be enough money. We haven't really, at any point in this tournament, introduced second quest money, so the runner should always have 3 large secrets and the 7 medium secrets to get most of what they need. So while it's not fun to run into the blue candle right after you buy it, it won't ever be something that really breaks the runner's ability to play.
Even this early, that's not something you would consider a retry for, would you?
Not with where it was located, no. If it was located closer to start, like let's say he found one at, I don't know, let's see if he's going to the Dead Woods and he went to the potion cave that Sigil's at right now and then walked to level 3. That's only like 4 screens away, so maybe you bay or retry strat from there. But having to go all the way to the grave just because you want to get your money back is not quite as fun.
Fair enough. Sigil's going to get the same news at Death Armos here once he makes it up there. He gets bopped into this cave here and is going to pick up his second Take Any. And he will have 6 hearts here in a moment if he doesn't get murdered at the Death Armos screen, as Sock finds level 3 in the forest. Well, they call it Death Armos for a reason. Sigil escapes, but he only had 2 hearts to his name, and a quick stab from a blue Darknut's going to take care of that. Sock picks up some bombs and is going to peek his head into level 3 and see if he can make any progress here.
Yep, those red gorillas rolled well down. They're usually a 3 HP enemy. He hit them with 1 blue candle and they went down. So that's 1 good bomb dropper on the overworld to be able to farm with not much repeatable offense.
Absolutely. Now the bad news. Vyres rolled up, so they will not be taken down by 1 bomb shot. Imasock is going to clip his way swordless into the staircase in 3 and grab the power bracelet.
Yep, I did not see Sock look at the Triforce count, so he may have to leave and look now. Otherwise, he knows that he doesn't need that Triforce, so he'll be out. And I guess he did check it.
Yeah, he must have. And this is a good place to check it, because you're right by 2 of the 4 power bracelet spots. You can check these as you're clearing these 4 spots, so that's handy to knock out early. As Sigil is going to pick up his paper, he'll be able to pick up red or blue potions.
Solid check of the gambling game. Sock gets 47 rupees, so basically got 80% of his loss at the blue candle right back from a nice gamble.
That's good money management strategy. If you overpay for something, just go to a casino. You will always be rewarded. That is solid financial advice.
Speaking of solid advice, I would say once Sigil finds the ladder, he should go back to the ladder spot.
Oh, I missed that. What was on the ladder spot?
Red ring.
That is going to be very important, especially with blue Darknuts roaming all over the overworld. Meanwhile, Sock is going to at least check the coast, see if there's anything here, and he'll be getting that information shortly as well.
Yeah, this overworld's not very friendly, but it makes the dungeons a little bit nicer to get through. 147 is the first large secret we've seen, and that's a ton of money, so definitely no reason for runners to really run out of money in this one.
That's certainly good news for that 59 that was spent on the Well, actually, Sigil didn't do that. That was Sock. The bad news here, this screen on Sigil's side from Vanilla 2 is going to be next to impossible to get down with that enemy set, and he takes a death on the stairs.
Yeah, you have to... I don't know if it really does anything, but I like pushing a direction as I'm going down, hoping for a different spawn. Then you have to candle boost once you get down to just the lever blocking your way out, and hope that the Darknut doesn't walk back over and get in your way. Sock, meanwhile, clearing this room to get a map of this level 5, probably wishes now that he hadn't seen it, and we see Wizrobes as well.
I was wondering when we were going to see Wizrobes, because we hadn't seen them on the overworld yet. That is a segmented 5, and that is That's a messy 5. That's an annoying 5, knowing you have to clear it.
So this is the point where I'm looking through some of the open rooms of 5, and the moment I get blocked off, even though it took me a minute to clear that entry room, I'm leaving. Because we know that 2 of the enemy sets and dungeons are going to be fairly easy to deal with. One's going to be Lionel's, and one's probably going to be dominated by Pole's voice, if I had to guess, as we see Moblins rolled in with Wizrobes. So there's 3 enemy sets in the dungeons. They can appear in up to 5 of the 9 dungeons. And we know one's going to be Moblin Wizrobe, so we know something that's usually a mid-level enemy has rolled as the primary enemy.
That'll certainly take the sting out of having to dig all 5 large levels before entering 9. I thought Sock was going to go back into that room and try to despawn that blue Wizrobe, but instead he heads back to start while Sigil's headed up towards the grave. And he'll have his blue candle shortly.
Yeah. Sock making the play that I think is the most reasonable play to make in that situation. The Wizrobe's just a bit too unfun, and the shutter doors and all that with just one blue candle and 1 bomb to his name makes it really hard to make any progress.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, your return on investment at that point with the time you're spending in there, yeah, you're getting information about what you're up against, but you also can't clear rooms, which means you're going to have to double dip it eventually anyway.
Yeah, it looks like Sigil may have skipped the blue candle and the shop initially. He's going to find the shop first, so ends up both runners do the same thing, although Sigil's route was probably more unfortunate as he walked the way that should have netted the blue candle first from the Wood Sword Cave.
Yeah, so no harm, no foul for Sock. Both runners ended up spending the same money, but meanwhile, Sock's going to check the Take Any roads, and all right, 3 out of the 4 have been spaced out pretty well. Where's the 4th one go? One ahead of Vanilla Start, so 3 out of 4 is not bad.
Yeah, I actually don't mind that setup at start, where it basically took both bomb spots that you have in your Vanilla Start area on the overworld off the table. You no longer have to go down there to bomb anything. Now it's just you bomb over in the southwest corner, and that's literally it for the majority of the south and southwest of the map.
Absolutely. Avoiding orphaning spots, especially with these flag sets, is an underrated part of the strategy here. So you don't have to circle back and potentially skip a bomb cave or a burn bush that you orphaned when you didn't have the right setup. Sock's got to be careful here to get off this screen, and he's able to maneuver his way out of there, and he's going to check the Vanilla 2 spot. And he's going to have the similar problem that Sigil had getting down. He's down to 1.5 hearts, so he's got to be careful. He's going to... Oh, grab that heart. There you go. So with max money, ordinarily runners might be tempted by blue ring, but knowing the red ring's on the coast, that's just highly unlikely when you have something that's twice as good just sitting there free once you find the ladder. Sock couldn't find 2 quick enough. He'll be able to get a quick heart refill and at least do a quick check here in level 2 and see what he's up against.
Yep, so one runner is in 2, the other one is in 1. That's a pretty good combination of dungeons to find.
One especially, and that enemy set isn't bad either. To your earlier point, Lionels and Gibdos with the ropes, entirely manageable with this offense of capability that Sigil has right now.
Yeah, he needs some bombs ideally to be able to get through some of these rooms, but they are farmable in the overworld from the Gorillas rolling down to 1 HP, so all he needs to do really is go up there, test his blue candle on them, realize they're really easy to farm bombs, and then work his way into some favorable accounts or use reset strategies. Unfortunately, getting well mastered there, not the most fun situation.
Yeah, and in terms of building account, ropes are not going to be helpful if you just have a blue candle. They rolled up to at least 4 HP. They did not go down to 3 candle hits. Sock, meanwhile, is going to reset some rooms and try and clear some Tektites here in this room with the shooters. He's down to 1. And see if he can pick up the floor item. He already picked up the floor heart, I believe in the room above him. And nothing here. He's going to see if he can bomb to the left. And he can. Sigil put in the time in that room to clear it and despawn enemies, and he finally did. And he's rewarded with a map. That level 1 looks like a baby scorpion. Oh, someone beat me to it in chat. Darn it. Meanwhile, 2 is just a boring bar graph.
Taking damage here is not the most fun, so Sigil not really interested in getting that key. But I think even at the cost of 2 hearts, I would go for it. Or if you can manage it, just candle boost yourself for the half heart, grab and go. We're starting to get some items now, though. We're getting the book out of 1 on the floor and the recorder out of 2.
The recorder out of 2, when you start with 3 Triforces, gives you instant mobility over parts of the overworld, and it gives you the ability, as Sock is able to pull off a Kananaki despite getting bought by the traps, which is very well done.
Yeah, I was wondering for a second if the old man would be over there, and if so, if it would be a mugger, because that's like the most unfortunate of the situations to be in. Because the mugger will shutter you in behind, you have to pay, or just up an A, so you lose the Kananaki entirely, and you have to go back to get the drop.
Yeah, that is annoying. You're just getting punished for doing something that is actually quite difficult to pull off. Now, Sigil has found level 1. Or, I'm sorry, he's already in 1.
Yeah, I feel like that room's starting to look favorable for the staircase, so maybe close to time where Sigil's going to have to leave and find a bomb pack.
Yeah, he really is kind of running out of options where he could get a floor drop. This room might be one. If he's able to do some damage, he's going to exit and re-enter. Or he's going to try and kill these keys.
Yeah, there's a chance that they'll end up dropping a bomb in the room drop, so you might as well try it. Sock tried to get a bomb off of the moblins, but they did not drop, so his count must not have been favorable for it.
Hey, great success. He's got bombs.
So now the real question is, what did Blue Lionels roll to? They could be up in the double digits. They could be just 4 HP. We don't know.
Yeah, if they rolled down, that's a significant help because they're bomb droppers. And in vanilla game or even in plus or minus 2, having the Blue Lionels as bomb droppers is nice if you have the offensive firepower to take advantage of it. But if they roll down up to 4 HP, that could be really helpful for our runners who are still at the starting point of 8 bombs. They haven't found any bomb upgrades or or the white sword or the magical sword bomb upgrades yet.
Sigil gets a key drop in this room. I think now, even though we saw that reverse C, you just go ahead and open this key door and hope it's like a diamond staircase that you can clip into. In this case, it won't be, so now you just take your Triforce that you needed anyway, so it worked out.
Totally worth paying that toll to get that, so he will be back at some point, but having that Triforce out of 1 certainly helps. And 1, oh, he's going to go right back in. Scratch that.
Yeah, he might be testing out whether or not he can kill these Lionels easily. Sock, meanwhile, gets the compass that should tell him he doesn't need to be here anymore, so that's the easiest way to get him out of there. He could have gotten lucky, though, and run into some more keys in the meantime. And speaking of lucky, Sigil gets a bomb drop, killing 2 of those 3 Lionels, so here's his chance to find out what's in the staircase.
Very nice. Lionels are a max of 8 HP. It's the wooden boomerang. Swordless this early, you'll take that.
Up until the point where you have both a wand and a bow and arrow, I think you take that, period. Red Candle maybe is good enough to say, okay, if you don't have the wand yet, but I've seen too many people turn it down, lose a chance to stun a whole group, kill a whole group with 1 bomb, and get through rooms with more resources.
Absolutely. The ability to group bombable enemies, either for a 10 count or who are just natural bomb droppers, when you're on limited resources, absolutely useful. Sigil's going to take the any roads here, and he has not seen these yet, so he'll find this one at Vanilla 8, and the one up towards the Lost Hills, and then the other one right by Stark.
Yeah, the other big bonus is if you're in a larger dungeon and you have a boomerang and you find one of, at that point, several, and a lot of those dungeons have 2 or 3, you then get to hit them point blank and get up to a 7 count, so that also makes it easier to get your bomb drops. If you can get your automatic 7 count, then you simply have to kill 2 enemies before getting a bomb dropper and killing it.
Definitely, and with the plus or minus 4 HP, it's also possible that some enemies that normally wouldn't have the opportunity to roll down to 0 HP just might, and that's always a nice surprise when you find it. Red Octoroks are not one of those enemies. Neither are the Wall Masters. They're 3 HP. As Imasock is battling them, he's going to pop out of the room and pop right back in. Now, Sigil took a death up in the northwest. Did he see the far northwest cave?
Unknown.
Alright, Sock is making decent progress in 6, but he's out of bombs and he's stuck in a room with a bunch of ropes that he can't kill with a blue candle. So, back to start he goes. He could open that key to the north, but instead he's going to hop out of 6 and get back to overworld exploration. Well, that's helpful. Levers go down to 1 shot.
Yeah, I like going through some of the overworld at this point. Did he ever flute to 4 or find 4 naturally?
I don't believe so. I don't recall that.
That would probably be my next play, just because we can get kind of back to this area relatively quickly. I believe we saw level 2 is just at the forest below the desert, so it wasn't like it was super far away. Or level 3, I think, was down there too.
Yeah, that added knowledge would certainly be... It might be a small time save, but it's at least one less thing you have to worry about with overworld exploration.
Yeah, because it could be, say, on a raft spot. I mean, that would give you information that your overworld block is absolutely obtainable already with the recorder, so you can get around that. And you would know that one of your outstanding items, the raft, would not be a 9, so you can kind of figure out where items are with that knowledge as well.
Absolutely. So, Sock missed nothing in the far northwest. That was a door repair. Meanwhile, Sigil found 3. He popped out, and he'll pop back in probably at some point later.
You know what we should have turned on? We should have turned on mirrored overworld to make that the true northwest.
I've said northwest like 5 times, haven't I? That's east.
But you could make it northwest, because if you mirror the overworld, that then becomes the northwest. But that messed with my head so bad that I vetoed it, much to the chagrin of some runners in this tournament.
I find that's fun to play casually sometimes, but I have to be in the right mood for it. I've got to be in the right mental state, because if I'm not, it will mess with me, and I will make a lot of right turns and start cursing inanimate objects.
Well, Virus split into keys that go down to a boomerang, so at least they didn't roll something fun. And Sigil's going to find out that he really doesn't have to do too much exploration of this level 3.
Yep, he'll be happy for the power bracelet, and he can peace out. Meanwhile, Sock is back up to 200 rupees. If you were hoping for Poverty Seed, folks, and you're just joining us, yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah, what might be happening is Bomb Shop might be really fun to find.
Have we seen? Did we see one bomb shop? Have we only seen the one?
I didn't even recognize it when we found it. I assumed we hadn't even found it yet, but...
Oh, I think you're right. I was watching a different race earlier before we got started, and I may be thinking of that. If the bomb shop is the rare shop, that kind of throws a monkey wrench into some of the bombable combat that the runners are going to be dealing with here. As Sock is able to pull off a nice candle boost to get around that annoying blue Gorilla, only to find another casino.
Yep, his odds are getting so much better at this point.
Hey, just keep doing it. You'll eventually win.
Well, in this case, it's actually better than a normal casino because you can eventually profit, given how low the majority of the punishments are, and positive 47 being there.
That's true. This is a poorly run casino in this scene. That's quite accurate. Okay, now we're gonna get the flute check by Sock, and that tune that's from Super Mario World.
Yeah, I always considered it the underworld kind of music when you're in a dungeon setup for Super Mario World. I got told I was wrong before. I'm not sure what the solution ended up being.
I normally don't. If it's anything from Final Fantasy, I am useless. I have no shot at getting that. But Super Mario, I got a shot to name that.
I think the majority of the Final Fantasy ones in this rando are from Final Fantasy 6/3. So we have Terra's theme, I think, in there. We have Kefka. We have, I think, the Returner/Locke's theme in there. There's quite a few of them from that game.
Okay.
Opera scene. I'm trying to think of them all offhand, but there's at least 4 or 5, 100%.
All right, Sigil's in 2 and Sock's in 1. So the runners have flip-flop places here a little bit.
Yep. If Sock can get this room cleared, this is the book, so he's going to have maps.
The book this early is definitely helpful, particularly because the runners are going to have to dig all 4 of the big dungeons, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So you might as well know something about where you're going, especially if bombs are going to be in short supply.
So, interesting note, now that Sigil has the record, he left immediately. That could mean that he gets less keys overall, though, than Sock got, because Sock, I think, cleared every room, and I think he stumbled across at least 1 extra key in there. So we'll have to see if that 1 extra key means anything in the long run.
Yeah, this one was not nearly as key-hungry as a lot of the ones in Randomizer can be. Or at least there were key doors that you could get around. So Normally, you go into one and you're counting on being down a couple, net minus a couple of keys, but this one, not so bad.
Yeah, Sock's going to get a pack of bombs here. I don't know if he'll be able to pull the same stunt for the boomerang that Sigil managed. He's going to have to burn 2 keys to get north here at some point, and I think he only gets 1 refunded. But yeah, I think Sock's going to be down to the same exact scenario of 3 bombs in a dream for that Lionel room, and he's going to know it's his staircase item. I don't think there's any chance he's skipping a staircase item in this dungeon.
No, he may have to exit, but he will probably come right back. Interesting on Sigil's side, now that he has the boomerang, those red gorillas are 0 HP enemies, so that's very handy if you can find them on the overworld as a bomb source.
Yeah, I think outside of level 3, there's red gorillas, so with the flute, every time I'm in bomb trouble, I'm going to 3. I'm going in the dungeon, I'm exiting the dungeon, I'm hitting things with boomerang, rinse, repeat, and I get full bombs.
See, folks, not all seeds in Zelda Randomizer are evil.
If you want a free seed, there was one last night. Guaranteed.
Fair enough. Alright, Sock's going to check this room out, get his Triforce, get a health refill, and then head out from there. He's only got 2 bombs, so he's going to have to minimum refill on bombs before he goes and tackles that blue Lionel room. Oh. Wrong spot, Sock.
Yeah, I've done that. I don't have enough fingers and toes, but yeah, those 2 spots being the exact same with the exception of basically the alignment of that column is just rough. Sometimes it just plays mind games on you.
Yeah, the one that makes my head hurt the most is the second quest, West Death Mountain one, that is just second quest. It's 2 spots east of the top northwest corner. The actual northwest corner, not the one I said was northwest, that was northeast earlier. But it's that one that's only second quest, and I can never remember. Is it 2 over? Is it 3 over? I can never remember.
So the trick as a runner to tackling that is you have to understand what the tile looks like and where the cutoff point is. See the Sock screen right now, there's like a pattern of the block in the wall, in this cave even. All you do is you hit the line of the ones that you think it's going to be, and if you're bombing the line, it'll open either side. So you've got double the odds of opening it up, even if you kind of forget which one it is.
Yep, and still somehow, even when I get it on the line, somehow I'm 1 off. I'm like, oh, dang it.
The remedy to that is playing with Secret Spot Shuffle, and people will probably bemoan you for trying to put that in.
I mean, that does add a variable to the mix in terms of exploration.
The Where the White Sword at bomb upgrade is a comment that I think is only found on Magical Sword, by the way, so that's very unlikely to be the actual White Sword and be a vanilla White Sword in its place with the bomb upgrade swapping out. Sigil's doing the strategy I would do.
Yep, very nice bomb force. Meanwhile, on Sock's side, he's going to pick up arrows. He's got money burning a hole in his pocket. I know some people think the minute they buy wood arrows, they'll find silver arrows. The minute they buy blue ring, red ring shows up. But in a big money seed like this, if you're not spending it, you're maxing out and you're leaving money on the table. So you might as well get stuff while you can get stuff.
Yeah, and he's not in awful shape with bombs. Hasn't seen a bomb shop anyways. Not in the worst shape with keys. Could potentially buy some keys. Could still buy a bomb upgrade. So there's a couple things you could buy, but there's nothing more essential than potentially the block via Pulse Voice or Goma, and you might need some wood arrows to get the silvers anyways.
Absolutely, those are annoying. With this much money, you would expect both our runners to make a key purchase at some point, wouldn't you?
Perhaps. We'll note that this Wizrobe in level 5 is not killable and will not be getting fed.
He is correct that none shall pass, though. It's just Link's going to up an A, and we'll never see this guy again. Plus 47 on Sockside. Team Middle strikes again.
Now, that's what happens when you go to the casino one too many times, though. I think he's going in hopes of maxing out again for Blue Ring, just because at this point, why not? The problem is he needs to go the positive direction with a plus 47 now. Oof, makes it.
Nice, okay. Was there a... Blue Ring shop is not the rare shop. Was there a Blue Ring shop nearby here in the Lost Woods? Or maybe... Or in the Dead Woods, I'm sorry. Or maybe we'll just find level 8 and we'll just get the Blue Ring later.
Well, I feel like... I don't know that I've actually seen a Blue Ring shop even. I haven't been marking my shops appropriately, but I would certainly think that he has reason to go ahead and get back up to 250. But yeah, that is the one overworld block we were guaranteed. Whether or not it's the only one, we won't know yet.
Yeah, that's a good point. The one guaranteed overworld block is not a positive limitation. There can be more than one. And I know some people in chat are probably rooting for more than one.
If you're rooting for more than one, you've got about 12 days until you're going to get more than one, because we'll get mixed first overworld, and we'll get a whole bunch of flute spots and a couple more power bracelet spots opened up. And we'll probably see more than one at that point.
That starts for the round of 16, is that right?
Elite 8 flags is when we get the next change. So in next week will be round of 16, and the following week will be Elite 8.
Ah, perfect. All right, Sock's able to get one of those 3 mini dig doggers down. You exit the room and re-enter. You will have cleared the entire mini boss. Nothing given there, but he will bomb to the right and see what's in these 2 rooms over here. The answer's not a lot.
Yep, gonna pick up the rupees because he still had 5 left to go to max. Why not? And looks like Sigil's already had enough of this dungeon. Probably still looking for overworld exploration. There's a good chance the white sword item now is available, given that we've seen a dungeon that's blocked, and we have the items to go after all but 2 spots on the entire overworld.
Yeah, there's a lot of overworld to traverse still. A lot in Death Mountain. So we'll see how quickly the runners are able to get overworld spots cleared and open up other stuff. Meanwhile, Sock is going to stick it out in level 8 and see if this room down here in the south is a push block room, and he's rewarded here in the room above it with a nice bomb pack. Alright, so Sock has located the Triforcinate, which is good information to have, but he's digging for items, so he will, in all likelihood, go as far as he can, and then if necessary, grab that, and at least then he'll have the ability to flute back at the appropriate time. Meanwhile, right above the Triforce, we find a stair, and it's our transport. Unfortunately, that doesn't take you very far. It does save you a key. Well, unless you decide you just want to cut your losses and head straight south. Meanwhile, on Sigil's side, that's a handy thing to find.
As the admin, I'd like to protest this race now. It gave us the red candle. We shuffled that thing.
Oh, the odds were not good, but here we are. For the record, I did not roll this seed.
Definitely a very useful item to find, though, with Wizrobes being the only thing that didn't roll up on the overworld as far as the 3 primaries go. I mean, you lose the ability to candle Garias in dungeons, but Dark Nuts couldn't be candled, so that's helpful. Speaking of helpful, Sigil did not get to this Triforce in 8, so if 8 happens to not be very useful going forward, Sock won't have to ever be back there.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, Sigil is going to dip 4. It's a manageable sized 4, and if he's able to, now that he has the red candle, he'll certainly be able to clear this room a lot easier. Do a little digging, and hey, maybe get a few keys while you're here, like he just did there. Okay, so now Sock's back in 1. I assume this is because he has 7 bombs now and he feels like he can take that blue Korea room on?
Yeah, I think he knows that he needs to probably clear this room to get his item. I don't know if he saved beforehand, so we'll see if he decides to leave this alone, if he spends his bombs and doesn't get what he wants. He also got a really favorable pattern there, so that's helpful.
Yeah, that was a high-risk, high-reward play, because he could have gotten beamed 3 times in the face. He will be rewarded with the boomerang and immediately check out.
He's going to save there. I think if he had the red candle, that may have been retried out of, but since he doesn't yet, no point.
Yep, now where's he headed with the flute? He is headed up to 4. Okay, so he's going to make the same play that Sigil's making now. So that room Sigil was just in that dropped a key and then he tried to push the push block. For folks who may not understand how the remove most open stairs flag works, is my understanding correct that there may be some rooms where you walk into a potential push block room and an item is on the floor and you are still able to push the block and reveal a stair?
Yeah, so the way you're going to recognize it most of the time is there's 2 spots it'll like to spawn. It'll like to spawn central, so either almost on top of the single push block or either just to the right or to at the half tile to the right of it. Or if it's like a reverse C or a single block, sometimes it'll spawn in the top right corner. So if you see something up there, it no longer indicates that the room has no push block in it. Suddenly now it is guaranteed to push for a staircase. So you can't rely on that information. And in general, reverse Cs did not have a top right corner drop. They have a central drop. If it's like, say, level 3, I think there's a drop in there if you do the normal no up and A runs. So that kind of spot will drop something normally. But the standing item in the top right corner is not something traditional to the Zelda 1 vanilla game. So the way to really note it, I guess, is if you have vanilla knowledge of the game, you know that if you see something that's out of place there, it means it's a staircase that is guaranteed to you, and you can go ahead and clear that room and see what's underneath.
Excellent. And that type of knowledge is going to be crucial for our runners in these dungeons with the bracket flags on. Otherwise, you're going to run the risk of spending a lot of unnecessary time clearing rooms that you don't need to clear.
Yeah, it looks like Garen's saying we have a confirmed ladder block here in 4, so that's great knowledge for both runners. It means you have to dig outside of 9 to find the way to get the ladder to, in theory, get this Triforce in 4. While, again, it's not a Triforce they need, the game logic doesn't know you have that Triforce, so you have to guarantee the ladder outside of 9 based on that.
Yep, absolutely right. The game does not assume, even if you start with all 8 Triforces, the game logic will not assume that you start with any Triforces. And as a result, it will not create a situation where you have to retrieve an item out of 9 in order to get a Triforce from levels 1 through 8. All right, Sigil's back in 8, and he runs right into that ladder block in 8. Thankfully, he'll have a way to work around it, at least partially. Be interesting to see which direction he goes, given that he's already been in here.
Yeah, there's a tab for those who don't play the randomizer that says start items, and anything in that tab, whether it be Triforce pieces, starting hearts, any of the random items that you can give a runner in that tab, none of that is considered logic by the game. So that's how the runners will know. So even though it sometimes gets a little bit complicated to explain, that's something that's easier on the runner than it probably is to the viewer to see.
Yeah, playing casual runs, it's sometimes fun. Just say, you know what, I don't feel like killing anything today. We're just gonna start with mags because, you know, I've had a heck of a day. Meanwhile, on Sock's side, not having the red candle here is causing some time loss here in dealing with this room. He's had to get reset in here at least once and use bombs to try to clear this room and progress further down towards the south. Oh, this is always annoying. You have 2 bombs and you have to clear a single Dodongo. Troll Dongo, will he strike again? Not this time. Oh, Sock's reward is Squadoosh. Sock is going to go through the turnstile room and head towards the southern part of 4. The turnstile room, Fury, that second quest rooms are part of the mix here, is that right?
Yep, second quest rooms are on, so the 5 push block room, for example, with the 5 double blocks, 1 in the middle left will push. The trap room has a staircase. You get the turnstiles, you get the level 6 funky moat room. A couple of other ones, I think we call it the market room or supermarket because it's kind of got the aisles, it's all vertical.
Yep.
The 3 linear comes into play and is a push block on the far left, those sort of things.
Yep. And the one with the all vertical aisles is never anything, I don't think. It can never be a push block, and it may be a drop. I know in Vanilla 2 it can be a drop for at least a key.
Yep,
so second quest.
Correct. If you're playing second quest, then that room can have a drop in it. If you are playing shapes or first quest, they follow first quest logic, so it will never have a drop.
And if you're playing second quest Zelda 1, why do you hate yourself?
I think Fred regrets ever putting that in the randomizer, in fact. Every time we bring up a bug that's related to second quest, it gets a grumble, and that's about the last thing we hear from him.
That's right. Then he has to go for a long walk.
Worth noting that I was somewhat incorrect there. If you play mixed and shapes and you have second quest on that rotation, then it gets a little bit fun about that supermarket room.
Yeah, the second quest room that bothers me the most is that funky moat room, because every time I see it, it reminds me that, hey, you've been meaning to get better at ladder clipping. I'm like, oh yeah, I never do get around to that, do I?
Yeah, an example of grumble from Fred was, I think, in the last tournament, one of the seeds had Zelda in the very bottom left corner in that moat room, so it was forced ladder clip to get to Zelda, which is not logic at all. So it's just an example of second quest breaking poor Fred.
To be fair, second quest has broken a lot of people. Those are some beefy ropes, by the way. I think those were at least 5 HP. They may have been more.
Feels like Sock's getting a little bit unlucky here. He's got that orphaned one-off bomb spot underneath the power bracelet spot in the grave that has his repeatable combat.
Yeah, hopefully after clearing the far northwest Death Mountain, he'll make it back there and grab that. That would suck to orphan that and just have that be real unlucky. And that's the one spot that had your repeatable, burnable offense. Meanwhile, on Sigil's side, he's making some decent progress up in the north end of this behemoth of a level 8 map. He's going to go ahead and use a potion here so he doesn't die. He took a good amount of time getting up here, so you definitely don't want to have to retrace your steps at this point.
Have we seen 9 by chance yet? I've actually not.
No, I don't think we have. Interesting. So we thought Sock was going to go for Blue Ring with his maxed out wallet. He just bought the bait. Now, we know the bait is for level 5 and it doesn't really block anything, but not a purchase I've seen a lot in this tournament.
Well, we found a pack of bombs, so that's a fun sight. And we find an item in 8. It's an upgrade, but not the upgrade we were looking for.
If only I knew someone who liked that particular item.
You know, people give me some hard times about skipping it, but that meme only exists in pickup races and weeklies.
That is the appropriate place to meme, as Sock is going to get his red candle here at the vanilla Death Mountain medicine shop. I missed what the price was for the bombs in that single bomb shop.
Vanilla.
Okay. It's not bad.
If you're getting a huge, large secret, you can buy 7 of them.
With plus and minus 4 HP, you might need all 7 of those packs. As Sock's going to head directly back to 4 now that he has more bombs and repeatable Bernie time offense. He's going to make a lot quicker work of this 4. Meanwhile, Sigil is fully invested in clearing this 8 and getting the second item out of here. And with that look at his start screen, there's not a lot of rooms he hasn't seen yet. So, process of elimination has got to be working in his favor at some point. So, Fury, we're 52 minutes in. Put yourself in Sigil's shoes. You find the second item in 8, and it's not particularly helpful. Let's say the White Sword bomb upgrade. Are you panicking at this point? Are you feeling like you're behind? Or, given what you've seen, are you kind of feeling like, well, my opponent's dealing with the same junk I'm dealing with?
I will say this. If I'm in either runner's shoes, the worst thing you could do is theorize what your opponent is doing, because you're almost certain to be wrong, because you literally have no information to make that call. All you can really affect is you. So yeah, you can feel like you haven't really gone the right order in the seed, and it might be correct. But for all you know, your opponent is either 2 minutes away from finishing the seed, or they are 2 hours away from finishing the seed. You just don't know. So adding stress to your gameplay probably wouldn't be the best way to think of it. What I would be thinking of is ways that I can get through specific dungeons. Like, say this 5. I know it's Wizrow, but how do I get through this? Do I need more bombs? If I need more bombs, can I farm my way up to 8 bombs and then set up a count in this dungeon quickly before finding a Wizrobe room so that I can clear it?
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. I feel like folks talk a lot about, do you meta play if you're behind? If your opponent right orders the seed, it kind of doesn't matter what you do most of the time. So focusing on what you're going to do, how you're going to route, in what order you're going to attack things, given the information you have, is, if nothing else, it's an entirely defensible strategy.
Yep, so that blue Wizrobe room with the reverse seat could be the item or it could not be the item. So I wouldn't spend a ton of time clearing that yet. I would instead go through this dungeon because there's a lot of old men in this dungeon. We know one of them is the bait, so it's not going to be that room. But what are the odds that the second old man in this dungeon or the third one's going to be a bomb upgrade? I would think they're kind of reasonable. Maybe we'll get a bomb upgrade. Maybe we'll be able to clear the blue Wizrobe room at that point. So just keep thinking of places that you can go that may not be exactly items, but could get you more resources to be able to clear rooms, and try and progress through the seed as best you can with those sort of decisions.
That's solid advice, and as a fairly new runner, I will take all the advice I can get. Sigil did battle that room of orange Wizrobes. He did get a bomb drop, which was helpful, but not a push block, so he'll continue to dig the northern part of this map.
And the other decision, Sigil didn't go down through that key door that's kind of a blocker to the southern half of this 5. So I think in that case, you have to just go ahead and start burning through some keys. I know 3 keys is rough, but we do know key shops. We have 190 rupees. Maybe we can find some keys on the floor after this because it's level 5. 5 in most randomizer seeds does have a lot of key drops, so those are things that you can kind of give away in here and potentially get back.
Yeah, when I was first starting out running, going and buying keys, I was always very hesitant to do, but the more I watch, especially in races like these that are swordless, the more I watch, the really good runners not blink at spending money to pick up a key or two when they have the money and they know they're low on keys, because it opens up your ability to route in dungeons. So strategically, that I can definitely see the value in doing that.
Yep, so in Swordless, you're likely to clear some of the rooms less often. Like Wizrobe rooms, you're probably going to run through. Blue Darknut rooms, if they're in dungeons, you run through. Pull's Voice without a bow or wand, you're going to run through those. So you're going to have less opportunities to actually get the resources that you would get in a Sorted Seed. Similarly, in a Sorted Seed, if you turn extra bosses on, then you're going to have more bosses in dungeons. You're going to clear less bosses than you would clear keys rooms. So in that situation, you're also giving up keys or bomb drops or information drops. So there's just more decisions to be made with your resources, but you can kind of take those ideas away by buying those resources more often, especially if you have a neutral money seed, or in this case, a surplus money seed.
Yeah, and reacting to those variables is something that a lot of really good runners have the ability to kind of do on the fly. You can have all the plans in the world, but if an item you need is going to be in a difficult spot and it's the rare shop, or you're going to end up in a situation where you're having to spend a lot of your money to buy resources you normally farm for, you've got to be able to make that adjustment on the fly. And a lot of the runners in this event, who are all really, really good, are really good at making those kind of in-game adjustments and proceeding accordingly.
Yep, so Sigil's burning some keys now down to 1, but he's going to find either a transport here to the other segment, which is pretty likely at this point because he hasn't found that yet, or he's going to find the item, which he did find, and it's the wand. So he burned through his keys as Sock gets the bow out of 7, so both find huge items here. And Sock does have wood arrows, by the way, so he will be able to use that bow immediately.
Yeah, both runners are, to the point you were making earlier, they're getting rewarded for making the investments in the resources that they did earlier, which is great strategy on both parts. Where this second half of the race here is going to shape up to be really interesting.
Yep, so the real question of this seed is, will the ladder be in level 6, or will it be in level 8? Because I don't think it can be in 4 anymore. I think we've eliminated the possibility of finding the item in 4, and think that it's past the ladder block. So Which runner is going to invest in one of those two dungeons? I think Sock probably is more likely to go to 8 with 2 items and good exploration. I think Sigil with just 1 item left and a potential for it to be ladder blocked, as we saw a lot of rooms and there's only a handful left and some of those were behind ladder blocks. Maybe he'll go to 6 first.
Speaking of, that's exactly where Sigil finds himself, is in level 6. He's going to hit the pause button on that, at least for the... Oh, he's going to pirouette to try to pop that key door open. He's got 1 keys. He needs to save the resources.
Yeah, Sigil's other play is level 7 because he hasn't seen that, but Sock also has to make the play into 5. That's why I didn't really include those 2 decisions, because while they both have to make those calls, they're both likely to dig them both at some point here soon. So I'm not too worried about Sigil missing out on the bow that was pretty close to the Triforce.
Yeah, this is one of those situations where those discoveries will even themselves out because both runners are going to have to make them. Just by the way the dungeons are routed and the fact that they need those Triforces.
The interesting counterpoint to that, though, I guess, now that I'm thinking about it, is I don't know that we've actually got any dungeon that's locked as far as... Well, here's a Pulse Voice room. Maybe we couldn't clear this. This might be our item.
You're exactly right. However, it is the White Sword Bomb upgrade.
Which is very nice to have. I'm sure Sock's not going to complain too much.
No, but, that's the first bomb upgrade of any type that we've seen so far, correct?
Yeah, I have to think that there's one more old man deep in level 5 that probably has one. And if I were to hazard a guess, level 6 or 7 is probably the other one.
So this came up on one of the seeds I was watching last night. Can bomb upgrades be in 9? No, right?
Nope. Well, unless you're talking the White Sword bomb upgrade. But if you're talking just the normal bomb upgrades, no.
Yeah, the old man bomb upgrades.
Worth noting that Sock does have a 40% chance at magical bombs, so if he spends all his money in this 5 or somewhere and has to go, find some free bombs, that might be his best opportunity. Unfortunately, with that bomb upgrade, he's now going to bomb all these wizrobes that definitely did not roll down. That heart is a trap, don't do it.
100% of the time I am getting... Yeah, see, he tried to get it right there. 100% of the time I am getting beamed in the face the minute I do that.
It doesn't make this room any easier. You still take 2 hearts of damage, you still die, so don't do it. It's always a trap. He's going to get the segment. This will be interesting. This could be a situation where he finds the bomb upgrade in the top room of this other little segment. It would be bad news because he might need a key. Okay, so it's not over here. That's great.
Yeah, and that second stair, I didn't mention this at the time when Sigil saw it, but that is a required stair to get to the bottom half, because that bottleneck in the middle of the large part of level 5 will not let you bomb to the south. So you have to take that staircase to get down to the bottom half of the map.
Yeah, so the big deal here right now is Sock has no keys whatsoever, and I'm almost positive you need at least 2 keys to get to the wand, which is in the southwest and the bottom segment. And the only key that I know of that he has not picked up in this dungeon that I can recall is in the Inishu Moblin room, as Sigil finds the bow in 7. So I said that guy would never get fed. I was clearly telling a lie. He got fed for purposes of getting rid of that rotation in the inventory.
I was just going to say, you don't need to do that, but it's one less thing you got to click through when you're doing select swap, so you might as well just get rid of it.
Yeah, now, if Guerrilla had rolled into the dungeons, there would still be a plausible reason to hold on to your bait, because they will move towards it, so you can pool all of the blue ones together.
Is it just the blue ones that are attracted to it, or are the red ones attracted to it as well?
The red ones are as well, but they're so easily killable in the sea that I didn't include them.
Yeah, that's fair. You can breathe on them and they'll keel over. As Sigil's going to get, now that he has his bow, first purchase on the board is immediately getting those arrows.
Yep, and Sock proving me wrong again. Just getting proven wrong left and right. He's now back up to 2 keys and still hasn't killed that room that would give him a key, so yeah. The real question now, though, is where is 9? Because, in theory, we are required the ladder, but not required the ladder.
Yes. You did mention earlier that there are 2 raft spots we can't access yet. It is possible that... Oh, well, scratch that. Now I'm wrong. We're in 9. Sigil's in 9. And, Furious, now that we're in 9, do you want to run through real quick what we're looking for?
Well, we're looking for silver still. We're not going to find the ladder in here, so it's down to silver's any key and raft. So you're 66% to find them in here. Also looking for useful information on Zelda and Ganon's location. Ganon with the roar, Zelda with the door. There is the item in the corner of a reverse C that indicates that you have a staircase. So that's what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah,
there's the roar we were talking about.
Well, that didn't take very long. So in that reverse C, if it was a quote-unquote normal reverse C room, that item would, if there was a drop in that room, the item would have spawned in the middle of the room?
Yep, it's normally a drop room. It comes from level 3 in the vanilla run.
Yep.
Alright, $1 million question, left or right or down? It looks like right is the wrong answer. Shuttered in, back to start we go.
Yeah, no escape bomb-wise there, but having that information is going to be very useful for Sigil as he continues to look for stairs. Okay, so Sigil peeks in, sees that it's a transport stair, and immediately peeks out. Fury, are you the type of person who will take that approach in 9 generally when you're checking stairs? You know, not take them if they're transports. I ask because I tend to do the opposite. I tend to take stairs whenever I see them, just to kind of clear extra spaces on the map that might be push block rooms.
The answer is, as always, it depends.
Yep. I'm a lawyer, so I'm very familiar with that.
So, I think you check open proximity rooms if you're close to start, because if you get shuttered, you get right back to them. I prefer taking staircases because I'm under the assumption that smaller 9s these days are going to troll more often with magic. So I don't like ignoring any staircase route because it could be the only route to something. But again, you do want to try and eliminate nearby rooms before going through one. We do find a useful item, but not the item we wanted in this 9.
Yeah, Sigil's not going to turn that down. And he's not going to bail on 9 either, despite the fact that the odds change just a little bit in terms of whether the silvers are here. But you're already here, so you might as well take some more peeks. Well, now we have our answer in 5 as to why we couldn't bomb down. There's a bugger in our path. Speaking of things in our path, we find Zelda under the dash, about halfway down, right just south of that little in-cut.
Looks like Sokka's going to have enough keys to make this play into this corner, which is great.
Yeah, he spent a decent amount of time in 5. He's going to be well rewarded. This is a necessary item to beat the game. He's down to 0 keys, but he'll make that trade 100 times out of 100 to get the wand in a swordless seed.
Alright, we have a room we want to clear now for Sigil. Did he take that staircase at some point?
Not that I recall. I don't know if he's planning on coming back there, or maybe he wants to attack it from a different direction. He's going to bomb to the left and see if he can go left. He cannot.
That was the staircase he came in from. Alright, so Chad
okay.
Giving us the information, so he's not making any mistake there. He's just saying, nope, I don't need to go back through there yet.
Thanks to Chad for the help there. As Sock has cleared 5, he immediately heads to 6 and will make quick work of this, ideally.
Well, I mean, it could still be the ladder, the raft, or the silvers. So, I mean, there's some potential for this to be very helpful. We still don't know if we're going to be ladder blocked. I mean, the ultimate troll would be seed us ladderless until you get to a circle room Zelda.
That is it. Oh, well, speaking of... Well, look what we have here. Silvers in 6 and raft in 9.
So here we go. I am fairly confident that Sigil will go 6 first, just because of his knowledge of 8. Probably going to assume that 8's ladder blocked when it's not. Or he's going to go to 4 because that's also a logical play, because he can now kill the Pole's voice over here. I see. That's very fair.
Yeah, and it's the smallest of the remaining dungeons. Totally get it.
So there is a very good chance that Sock is now going to have enough time to get into 9 and kill Ganon. Sigil's going to pick up this bomb upgrade because you definitely want the extra bombs. Yeah, I think Sigil's still not going to quite get to the silvers in time to get there before Sock inevitably finds at least Ganon, based on what we saw of Ganon's route.
Yeah, Sigil found Ganon pretty much with the first staircase he took, so, like, so he'll be... If he follows a similar path, yeah, he'll run into Ganon really quick, and then, that's half the puzzle solved right there.
Yes, I don't think Sock knows where 9 is, but he only has a handful of locations on his overworld left, and he's heading the general direction of 9. He's going to run through some bombs. I don't think there was a key door to get to Ganon, but I'm not even remotely confident that there's no key door to get to Zelda.
And Sock's going to pick up a potion rather than maybe get a few more rupees and pick up one safety key.
Yep, so he's all in. If he doesn't find the any key in 9, he's all in on being able to get everything done with basically 0 keys entering.
That's a lot of Kanana keying.
There's a question about silvers on a raft spot. The answer in this specific seed is no. There are no dungeons or items available left on the overworld that could be on a raft spot. So that's why there's no point in picking it up. There are some seeds of which that could be the case if the white sword item is out on a raft spot and you haven't checked it and you go into 9. That could be a situation that happens, but we have the white sword item already. It's the red candle. So that's not going to be the case here.
Now, Sock's path looks remarkably similar to the one that Sigil took the first time he was in 9. Ganon is right to through that shutter door on the right, which Sock will discover when he enters this room here. Now he'll have to go back around because he doesn't have the ladder, but as far as we know yet, ladder's not required until, of course, probably the last room you get into, and it's a double moat room like this one Sigil's in 6.
Yeah, and you can kill Ganon in a double moat room on the bottom row. It is possible. It's not fun, but it's doable.
I saw someone do it the other night. That's one of those situations where you can just abuse the wand's hitbox and pop Ganon pretty much walking back and forth across that bottom row.
Yep, so Ganon has a pattern where he'll jut down a little bit.
Oh boy, this is going to be a challenge.
This is very doable. He's on a really offset pattern, though, on that first hit. So got a little bit lucky. I'm surprised as all get out that he has not been drivered. That is wild. How has he not gotten drivered? He's on the right side of the Ganon box. That's why. But
yeah,
Ganon's walking below him.
There's still time. Oh, but he got the stun lock. Maybe hold that stun lock. There, he's got it.
And
yeah, I'm with you.
Of course, on that little path, so that's great. But he was walking. He was like partial tile below because I think he gets hit in any other circumstance.
Yeah, and I think he did. He's down to 2 hearts, so he had to have gotten drivered at least once there at the very end. But thankfully, he didn't get drivered earlier than that, or he would have been very disappointed in the result.
Yep. So now the question is, can Sock get to Zelda before Sigil gets back into 9?
Yeah, and the question. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And is she ladder blocked?
Yeah, the ultimate troll's still possible. Yeah, to answer your first question, I think that's going to depend on picking the right magical stair. So many of the seeds we've seen in this tournament lately, getting to Ganon and or getting to Zelda has involved required magical staircases. So it would not surprise me if that was the case here as well.
Yep, Sock going to burn a key now that he went up to 2 keys. I think that was the right play because he doesn't have any of this area explored. He's hoping this takes him somewhere close to the eastern side, probably. Well, it's in the east, and there's a key on the floor. You got to pick that up.
All right, careful, Sock. Don't get hit here. Checking that. Nope, we have a troll case.
Yeah, I actually think getting hit here would have helped him a little bit.
Oh, in terms of routing and stairs, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't know it would have helped him, but I think it would have sent him closer to Zelda's actual location here.
All right, on Sigil's side, he's back in 9, and he has all the information that Sock does not have. He's on his way to Ganon now. Hopefully, he'll enter from the left and have that same fight that Sock just did. And then it's a question of, can Sock find the pathway up to that spot before Sigil gets over there? We have a race, folks.
Yeah, the other big problem right now is Sock needs to go back to a Gibdo room and get some bombs.
Ooh,
he's gonna have 2 of them because he's gonna go back up into the second room in the E column here. And that's going to be a Gibdo room and the room above it. Both should have respawned at this point. He's rushing a little bit because he's worried about time, which is very fair, but he needs to probably take some of these guys out and get some bombs.
Yep, and that's exactly what he's doing. Sigil is setting up right by the door, trying to avoid getting Hyrule drivered. In terms of, as for me as a novice, he got drivered there, so he's going to have to use a potion here. In this type of room without a ladder is where Sigil is, where you'd want to set up coming in from the left, or would you want to be down in the bottom of that seat?
So there's 2 ways to approach from this side. His spot is not great in any circumstance.
He took a double driver there, and that's going to send him back to start.
So the 2 strategies you can have is if Ganon's on the other side, you can run to the top of that area. And if you run to the top, then Ganon will go up the middle column and go left, and you can go down and catch him on the way down. And then you just have to get off of where you caught him at, because he's going to most likely spawn either in that bottom little square where Sock caught him, or he's going to go all the way to the other side on the bottom right. And if he goes to the other side and you notice that, you have to go all the way up again. Sigil is going to go for a ladder here at this point. That's his play. He's worried he cannot kill Ganon efficiently enough on that spot. But yeah, the play is you can either get Ganon into a pair where he comes in and goes across the top and comes down onto you on the left side, or you can try and stand where Sock was initially standing. The problem Sock had was Ganon was a tile below, so he never caught him with the wand, even with the shenanigans that is the wand hitbox. We're about to see if there's a route, though, here. Well, maybe. Yep, we're going to see a potential route here to Zelda. Oh, man.
Here's a troll room for you.
So if he goes right here, we might see a shutter. We'll see what happens.
No dice. So Sock's going to have to clear this room and then ladder clip. Well, he can't ladder clip. He's going to have to find another way around.
Yeah, he's got to go back to start. He doesn't know it, but he has to go back to start.
Yeah, and I know he doesn't want to because he's got 12 hearts and all that. He might hope that, if I kill this Patra, then maybe I'll get a compass. But yeah, there's just too much space over there left to explore. Yeah, I thought he might go for the compass here just in case.
Yeah, people say Sigil needs Zelda to be ladder block to have a chance. I don't know that that's necessarily the case because Sock is very against going back to start at the moment, which seems to be the only real way to get there. There might be a staircase somewhere near Ganon. But the moment he gets the ladder, he's going to go get the red ring, and he's going to kill Ganon instantly, and he's going to have every way possible to get back to Zelda's location with the compass in hand. So the moment he finds the ladder, if Sock has not gone back and has the bombs to get around via start, the race could very well end against Sock, and I don't think he caught that bomb quite well enough.
Nope, he needs to do it again. There, he's got it.
I don't know that Sigil ever confirmed the route, though, so the real fun time would be if this room is like a magical staircase to right below or right to the left of Zelda.
Absolutely, and we have seen that with some frequency in this tournament. Sigil's going to get his ladder and then burn the hell out of it, pick up a toasty ladder, and move on from here.
All right, so Sock needs this staircase to pay off and get him over there.
Gets him marginally closer? Well, here's another stair. Maybe it's a stair to a stair.
Yep, needs this stair to pay off or needs the bomb wall up to pay off. Although I think this bomb wall up would just lead him into the... I don't know, I think that's more or less kind of where you can already go. Let's see what this is. Not going to take it. I'm going to try and go this way first.
Yeah, he may have been worried about that one room sticking out on the bottom right being the shutter door, which would be trolly.
Yeah, so I think you take the diamond staircase instead of clearing this guy.
Yeah. Well...
Well, what do I know?
Well, you know a lot more than me. I would have done the exact same thing. I would take the thing you know and hope that pays off. If you don't have to spend the time doing this, don't. Meanwhile, Sigil's imminently approaching Ganon. He's got his ladder. He's got a full set of potions. He should be in much better shape for this fight than he was a couple minutes ago.
Did he get the red ring for free?
He did not. Is that because you might think, you finally found the ladder in 8 and you're thinking your opponent already has it and you're just like, I gotta go. I'd rather spend the money on potions?
I just think if you're worried, I think you gotta go for it. Sock's out of bombs again, and he's just never gone back to start. So he's gonna have to clear this room and hope one drops a bomb and then go back to start. And I don't think at this point, I say that and Sigil's really clinging to life in Ganon's room, but I don't think he's going to have enough time if he doesn't go back to start at this point.
Oh, get that second potion, Sigil. Okay. He's about to get bopped in the face.
I don't know that Sock bombed into this room. Sock, you got to go back to start, buddy. I understand why he doesn't want to, but it's very apparent that there must be a path from start because the game won't allow him to progress anywhere unless he can bomb down here.
Yeah, he can't. He's out of options at this point, so he's got to go back. And Sigil's going to go back to start. Got bodied one too many times, and this is to your point about the red ring earlier. This may be one of those points where you're thinking is Sigil's going to do a save here and retry if he ends up getting killed again. Where the red ring probably would have really been a good strategy, even if you think you're behind. Just the time you're losing here from dealing with a difficult combat room where Ganon is just, yeah.
Yeah, I think you flute to a dungeon closer to the coast, which is what he's going to do here, and he's going to be able to go get his red ring. The problem is now Sock has finally found the general route to where we know Zelda is. She's 2 rooms up, so if it's not moat blocked, it's over.
Stock was clearing those just in case there was a bomb drop. Okay, moment of truth. Do we have a moat block?
Not quite.
No, we had a moat. But everybody get your GGs in. For Imasock, he finishes with a racetime.gg time of 1 hour, 25 minutes, and 14 seconds.
Yeah, so this ended up being a really close race for a whole lot of different reasons. I don't know that Sigil actually wins if he clears Ganon there. I think it's really close. I think it might have come down to a photo finish. So I don't know that the last Ganon death actually really impacted the race.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with you. It certainly made the end result a lot more predictable. But even if he's able to clear Ganon on that first try after getting the ladder, he still has to find the path. As we are joined in chat by our winner, Imasock. GG, sir.
GG, thank you. I am so sorry you had to watch that.
Well, you don't have much idea yet on how close it is, but Sigil died on the fight in Ganon's room, which you miraculously lived through because Ganon was a half tile off to the south, so he kept walking underneath you, which was crazy to me.
That's what happened, because I kept staying on the top half thinking I'm going to be able to, hit him from there, and wow. Yeah, that whole fight, I was just like in clinch, knowing that I had 2 potions, but I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, so Sigil went in there, died on the left side, went back to 8, grabbed the ladder, then came back to 9, died again with 2 potions in the ladder in hand, would have been very close to beating you, would have been photo finish-ish. Then went back out on the overworld again after a retry and got the red ring off the coast, and that's where he's at now. He's just killed Ganon with the guaranteed route to Zelda already in hand.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So your kill of Ganon there and managing to get through it without taking a driver until like the very last hit was enough of an advantage to get you through the seed and get there faster than your opponent in this one.
Okay, I have a question. When did Sigil get wand? Because I was at, like an hour 5 or something? Or hour 9? It was stupid. I was so mad.
You basically synced the pickup of the bow with his pickup of the wand.
Oh, wow.
And then you both reversed course and picked up the other item.
Okay.
So we have a official time of 1:28:01 now for Sigil. I'm sure he'll join us here in a moment.
Yeah, but well played by both players in this race. This was not a forgiving seed, despite the fact that you started with Triforces in 2, 3, and 4. But you both traversed things very well. You walk into Ganon's room in 9, and you see it's the Chevy room, and you're thinking what?
Oh, I wasn't so much worried about the fight, despite the fact that I didn't have any ring. But what I was mad about was the fact that there were 2 other shutter doors beyond there that I was sitting there thinking that were going to be a problem. So the longer I went in 9, the worse it got. Not to mention the fact that every wall was not bombable except for like 3, I think, 3 or 4 that. Yeah, that was disgusting.
Yeah, we were trying to will you to up A back to start because we knew that was the easiest way to get there.
Yeah, once I got to the 5th transport, hit the dead end, and was just like, okay, I'm out of choices.
Yeah, absolutely. That 9 was set up. It was trolly in the sense that, hey, you find Ganon right away, checking the first air, but then finding that path to Zelda, it had a potential to send you on a wild goose chase.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Ugh. Well, it really isn't. I mean, it's basically like 10 rooms if you played your cards right, but yeah, that was not gonna happen.
Absolutely. And we're joined in chat now by Sigil711. GG Sigil, very well run. You had some tough luck there with Ganon and 9, but you toughed it out and you made a really good showing.
Thank you. GG Sock.
GG Sigil. What a stupid seed.
Yes.
I was upset for many things. Notably, my big mistake was I mismarked my Triforces in the beginning with 1 and 2. I thought I had 1's Triforce when I had 2. So I dug the whole dungeon looking for the Triforce, and I think I found the compass like second to the last room or something, or third to last something, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was so mad.
Well, I think you +1 keyed out of there, which is an important note to make because you went to 9 with 0 keys, so that 1 key may have ended up making a bit of a difference for you being able to actually get the Triforce and get into 9. And I think you were on 0 keys when you picked up the wand as well, so you would not have been able to pick up the wand without picking up that extra key out of 2.
Yeah, there were a couple rooms I'm like, I know I don't need to clear this for the matter of exploration or Triforce or whatever, but I was like, I need keys. And I anticipate that any key was either in 8 or 9. And that was the other thing. I went through 10 stairs in 9 and found no items.
The any key was in 9.
Okay. So it had to have been behind one of the many ladder spots that I was like, I can't go there.
Actually, no. The any key was not behind the ladder spot.
What? I mean, I didn't need the any key once I finally got going into 9. I had several, but that was a result of me having very little choices in which way to go. So I'm like, well, I have to go this way. I got to clear the room.
I believe the any key was 1 room left of Zelda.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, he found Zelda while looking for items in 9 because he didn't have the silvers out of 6. You found the silvers out of 6 as he was finding the second item, which was the raft in 9. The Iniki was the first time he found there.
Got it. Okay.
Then I found the item in 4.
Yeah, but that only cost you like 30 seconds and it gave you more bombs, so I mean, it didn't really impact too much. And I want to say this, you said a comment in the race room. I don't know who wins if you actually kill Gan on the second time through.
Yeah, I'm not too sure either. It'll probably be like 30 seconds apart.
From my math, based on where he was and what you did walking back, I think it's actually probably under 10 at that point. So it would have been a wild finish. I don't know that you quite win. I think you kind of don't get there in time to beat him out still, but it would have been too close to call.
Yeah, the margin absolutely would have been razor thin at that point.
How about the white sword item?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I protested that. That was I called for the reseed at that point.
I would have gladly taken a reseat at that point. I was so frustrated because it took me too long. I just didn't get around to looking for it. I was too busy messing around in dungeons, discovering that items were in the last rooms that I wasn't checking and couldn't due to things like Pole's voice. So, you know.
When did you get the red candle?
Well after you.
Oh yeah, it was bad. It must have been, I would have to say, probably 45 minutes plus.
I believe Sigil had it about 15 minutes ahead of you, maybe a 12 to 15 minute range, because you went up into Death Mountain about 6 or 7 minutes after and started bombing Death Mountain. It orphaned that one bomb check underneath the power bracelet spot in the grave until probably a good 4 or 5 minutes later, I want to say, because there was a couple levels to look at up there, so you had some shinies
Yeah.
to look at.
Well, because I knew that with the recorder finding too early that I had the option to whistle to 4 just to see where it was. So I checked it, and then I was just thinking later, I left it, and I just didn't consider going back to check some of the other bomb spots around there. It just, yeah, it wasn't great.
It took me 10 minutes to realize I had the recorder.
Yeah.
I think we've all been there. And on the candle, if it makes you both feel better, both of you bought the blue candle about 2 screens before you found the free blue candle at Vanilla 6. And to both of yours credit, both of you bombed that free, or burned that free blue candle. So great minds think alike.
Heck yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
It's the little victories, right?
Yep.
Yeah, the only difference getting there is I think Sigil walked past it and went to the Armos in the shop and then walked back and found it, whereas Sock went from level 1 side of it and kind of wrapped over there and went down, I think, instead. So we thought Sigil was going to get the right order to it, and it ended up just didn't want to take the combat to get up there and in.
Yeah, I didn't want to take the chance of getting stuck up there.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking too. Was I remember that screen having some Gorillas and Dark Nuts on it, or maybe there was a red lever or something. I can't remember exactly, but
I think it was all the above, yeah. And yeah, it would be real easy for you to get stuck up there.
Yeah, so that was my thought was, well, this is either a really dumb mistake, because I considered scrolling over to the grave first and then going back up, but then I was just like, I'm just going to go and see what happens. So I think I had 6 hearts by that point. Something like that, which angers me even more, because if I had a bomb, I could have had the red candle before I had the blue candle. Or no, I would have bought the blue candle, and then I would have immediately stumbled into the red candle if I had a bomb there. Which would have probably felt equally as bad, but less bad than walking up and finding the blue candle for free. But oh well, it is what it is.
Yeah, the big takeaway, though, is you had plenty of money, both in terms of just gambling your way into wins, and also the large secret just being egregiously large.
Yep.
So money was not much of an obstacle until, I guess, Sock got to the absolute very end of the seed. And I don't think it ever really got too close to the edge for Sigil. I think he was still 40 or 50 rupees away from it.
At the end, I was like 18 just because I just was buying potions.
Yeah, fair enough. But it definitely didn't impact too much of the goings on in the seed until silver is being used in 9 at the very end, I would say.
Yeah, once I had silvers, I started shooting everything. I think I walked into 9 with 20 rupees, 21 rupees, something like that, and very frequently was down to like under 5.
Yeah, you were in a really, really rough resource spot. You managed to kept getting bomb drops off of Gibdos to keep yourself in it a little bit, and you just kept finding bomb walls that didn't open and had to go and find more bombs, and you just barely found the bombs you needed to finally find the route that was back at start to get through the Zelda. So we were really concerned a lot of times that you were going to run out of bombs and not be able to make it in there.
Oh, I ran out of bombs a couple times. It was a miserable 9. It was so terrible. That's why I apologized the first thing I got in here. It's like, I'm so sorry you had to watch that.
And it was the Razor's Edge, too, because your opponent had Ganon, Zelda, didn't have the silvers for the initial dig into 9, so you got in again, defeated again before Sigil got back. But From that point forward, it was just a question of ladder block. Will that play a part? Will Sock run out of bombs and not be able to get a bomb drop by chance or by kind of forcing his way back on the overworld on the 0 count? Will Sock run out of keys because he only has between 2 and 4 keys, all of which he picked up in 9? All of these ifs that could have all kind of ended you if one of them ended up rearing its ugly head, and worked out in your favor that none of them actually ended up causing any major issues outside of bombs hitting 0. But again, you got the drops you needed to find the eventual path, so it works out. We'll take it.
Yeah. That was my biggest concern. Was I was thinking to myself, if I have to leave, it's probably over. Simply just because of where we were at in terms of time, but also because at that point I was sitting there thinking, where am I going to go? Like, the only other option is 8, and that's all the way across, the whole place. There really isn't a super convenient way to get back to 9 aside from 4 or 5 screens away when you whistle. But yeah, it was just, I knew that if I had to go into 8, that it was not gonna, I probably wasn't gonna come out of there before there was a finish.
My first time into 8, when I had the red candle, I almost completely mapped 8.
Oh wow, I only saw about half of it, and I was able to do that on blue candle, I think, and bombs.
Yeah. It's worth noting, we did make that comment too. You found the Triforce on the left, and if there was nothing you needed in there, then you never were going to have to go back, and that would save you time as well. And in theory, logically, you needed the ladder to beat the seed because of level 4's Triforce, but because you had it already, it ended up not being required.
Yeah.
So
Because that was in that bottom right corner, and there was a ladder block there.
So yeah, there's just a ton going on. So this is one where it'll be fun to watch back, because the difference of 3 minutes really, as close as that is, almost doesn't do it justice. So you'll have to kind of see at least the last 20 or so minutes of this to see just how close it was.
Yeah, it was a really entertaining race all the way through. Lots of twists and turns, lots of variables, lots of possibilities. But thanks for putting on a great show in this. Any final thoughts from either of you?
I think I am tired.
I'm tired also.
I don't blame you one bit. That seed was a workout.
Yeah.
So we're looking very much forward to match 2 between the two of you coming up later this week.
Yep, we'll have to get that on the schedule.
Please not tomorrow. Please not tomorrow.
Do you want to do it Wednesday at the same time?
I was you read my mind. That sounds great. As long as it's not tomorrow, it sounds like Fury's semi-okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. Let me count here. Oh, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Well, no. Actually, we're going to go back down to 9 here because I think there's some matches that can't get scheduled because of lost internet and other things. But there's at least 9 on the dock tomorrow. There could be as many as 10. So
Oh, wow.
it's going to be a packed night, and we'll do our darndest to get them all aired, but I'm not quite sure how that's going to happen just yet. We're going to maybe push for some chatters in this race. If you want to get in commentator track, we'll definitely take all the help we can get. We love putting these on the air. We love giving people new opportunities. So if you're feeling interested in getting in the booth or pressing the buttons behind the scenes, feel free to jump in our Discord. We'll help you get started and kind of enjoy the action from the other side.
Yes, button pressing is not hard. It's real easy to pick up, and everyone does a great job. So, yeah, we really appreciate all the behind-the-scenes peoples.
Here on that. And as someone who's new to doing stuff in the Discord and doing comms, it's not as difficult from a technology perspective as it sounds. I'm not as maybe technology literate as most, and been able to pick it up really pretty well in terms of managing the technology. And it helps to have folks like Fury running things behind the scenes and keeping the trains running on time and providing really good analysis. So thanks to both of you for putting on a really interesting show this evening. Looking forward to match 2. Get some rest, and we'll see you shortly.
Thank you, BBQ and Free, for commentating.
You're more than welcome. Happy to do it. Happy to talk through really interesting races like these. So looking forward to seeing you shortly.
Thank you. Have a good night, and thank you, Tracker.
Yep. Thanks to Garion. Walked in the door, grabbed some sort of sandwich or something, ran to the computer, started pressing buttons. So was very helpful. Meant I didn't have to double duty. I certainly appreciate the heck out of Garion for doing that.
Same here.
The bot does not, because I unfortunately forgot to change it at some point. But Garion Old Wolf is where you can go to find the tracker. He streams some of his own content from time to time. I've watched a couple of his streams. I've watched him kill mechanics just like Adirondack Rick and Roller Coaster Tycoon. So good stuff over there as always. But we got to kind of wrap up here, I think, because Chest Jerk and Antlers, Speed Gaming 2, in 7 minutes. We want to make sure to get all the ads and such in there before we get to that race. So any final thoughts from you, sir?
Nope, I'm good. Thanks to Garion as well. Fury is not exaggerating when he said that Garion literally walked in the door, asked if we needed help, and Fury said, how about right now? And Garion said, sure. So greatly appreciate Garion and everyone behind the scenes, and greatly appreciate Fury making sure this tournament runs smoothly as possible. So thanks, Fury, for watching this race and commentating with me. Looking forward to more matches tonight. And folks, if you are interested in watching more Z1R this evening, good news. Check basically any speed gaming channel, and you'll probably see a bracket race tonight. So you have lots of options to choose from, including the one between Chest Jerk and Antlers in a few minutes. Thanks to Fury SK, thanks to Garion, thanks to the runners, and thanks to you for watching. Stick around for more Z1R coming up in a matter of moments.